Now entering the elevator to the retail underground. Enjoy the descent to the subversive layer of knowledge.
All right, we are live. What's going on tonight, everybody? It's going to be just me here tonight, so it may be a little bit shorter one. Dan actually has a very special night going on, and for anybody that wants to know what that entails for him, the Zack Snyder cut of the Justice League movie released today to the general public. So Dan actually was watching that so that he can review it on our other channel. So he's not going to be with me tonight. He's actually working on putting together a reaction video and a review to that right now. So you guys get to look at me for the next, who knows how long. We'll see. I don't know how long this one will go. We're gonna play it by ear. We're gonna see. So we do have a really good, at least I think it's a really good kind of show planned for tonight. We're talking tonight all about Amazon FBA in ways that we can improve our rankings, we can improve our sales velocity, all that type of stuff. And I think one of the big things that happens a lot of times with Amazon sellers is they get caught up in so many different things because there's so many moving parts. There's so many things that go on all the time on Amazon, and it becomes really difficult sometimes to keep in mind the simplest things that we can be doing to help ourselves. Okay. A lot of people look at the bigger picture and they don't just put one foot in front of the other and just focus on the task at hand, so to speak, for it. So what I want to kind of go through a little bit tonight is just some main things that we can be doing to increase our sales and be able to rank higher on Amazon. Okay, and the main thing that you have to take away from this is you have to look at selling on Amazon as we've got to play by their set of rules. It's their ball game. It's their playground. We have to fit within that. Okay, so the first thing that you can do before you can even start ranking on Amazon and making a bunch of sales is you have to figure out, how do I make Amazon money? Okay, and as backwards as that sounds, trust me, this is the best way to be able to take care of doing that. So how do we ultimately go about doing that? Well, you have to kind of look at, what does the Amazon algorithm want? What are they looking for? And what is the best way to take that information and use that to our advantage? And really, the Amazon algorithm is kind of broken down into a few different subsections. There's no guarantee that this is 100% exactly what the algorithm is looking for, but this is these are some of the main things that they focus on. Okay. So one thing that they are typically looking for is going to be your click-through rate. Okay, so a click-through rate is basically if you are on an Amazon page, okay, and let's just say we're on page 1 for gold picture frames. We use that example on here a lot. So you're on page 1 for gold picture frames. Let's say that you're showing up on there. When the customer is scrolling down through, what is the click-through rate to your listing? Okay, so out of 100 people searching on there for that, how many out of those 100 click on your listing compared to anybody else's? Okay, that's one of the first determining factors that Amazon is going to look at. Okay, they obviously aren't going to rank us high if we don't have a higher click-through rate. And you might wonder, how do we get a higher click-through rate? There's a lot of different ways to be able to do that. Number one is have a better thumbnail. Okay. Be honest with yourself. If your pictures suck, you're not going to get any traction. It's just that plain and simple. We live in such a visual world at this point that if we don't have great visuals, if we don't have great pictures, we're not going to get any traction. It's not going to happen. So that's first and foremost. We have to make sure that our pictures are really, really good. And then you have to make sure you have a compelling title. And this is something that, really a lot of people struggle with, is you've got to have a very compelling title that is easily readable by the customer. Okay, so many people just try to keyword stuff and it looks like shit, really. And that's the toughest thing sometimes, is, again, being honest with ourselves, looking at our listing and saying, you know what, I can do better with this title. Your listing, you have to think of it like this. Your listing is like your sales, your storefront, let's say. So let's look at Amazon as that's the world's largest shopping mall, basically. Okay. And our listing is our storefront on that shopping mall. And our listing acts as our salespeople to sell our product. Well, as a salesperson, we have to put our best foot forward and make sure that we are as engaging with the customer as we possibly can be if we want to convert to a sale. So your title needs to act that part for you as well. Your title needs to be something where it catches the customer's attention, but it's easily readable and they can instantly see what the product is, what it's all about, but it doesn't come across as we just threw a bunch of random keywords in there and we're hoping for the best. So first and foremost, make sure that we have a great thumbnail, great picture in order to be able to have a better click-through rate. Second part of that is going to be conversions. Okay, what is our conversion rate? So we get a click through to our page. Okay, somebody clicks onto our page. That's the first hurdle. That's the first step. The next thing after that is how often are we converting that person to a sale? Obviously, higher converting listings are going to perform better on Amazon. It's that plain and simple. Look, you don't get to $1 trillion market cap by just putting a brand new listing up there that has 0 reviews, 0 sales, anything like that as your number one option on there. No, you're going to put your best selling stuff, but not even just your best selling, your best converting stuff. You know that if that gets up to the top of the page, it already has a really high conversion rate. And now if you rank it even higher and it gets seen in front of more people, it's going to continue to do that. So that's the second part of it right there, is the conversion. Now, conversion is where we start looking more at the overall listing. Okay. The click-through part of it is going to be more geared towards the thumbnail part of your listing. Okay. That's going to be your main picture and your title, because those are the main things that the customer will see. As we get into the conversion aspect of it, that's when you start looking at all of the aspects of your listing. Are you using a video? Do you have enhanced brand content? Okay. And if we don't know what enhanced brand content is, we're going to be doing some stuff on that in future videos, and we will cover that. But that's basically, if you're brand registered, you have the opportunity to be able to do that should you so choose to. What do your bullet points look like? Okay. All these things come into effect. And again, we're not trying to keyword stuff. Okay. We want to have important keywords in there, but the main key is that we need to look at this as this is an opportunity to sell the customer on our product. Why should they buy from us and not buy from somebody else? Okay. It seems like a simple concept, but so many people fall victim to, I got to get as many relevant keywords in my listing as I possibly can. And that's the wrong way to look at it. Yes, we have to have good keywords, but it has to be something. Put yourself in the customer's mindset for a second. Take yourself out of your owner mindset, out of being the seller, and put yourself in the customer mindset and look at it that if I was a customer, would I buy this? And you have to be honest with yourself. Or if you're worried that you're going to be biased towards yourself, ask somebody else. Ask somebody that's going to give it to you straight and they're not going to bullshit you on it, and ask them what their thoughts are on that to make sure that you are giving it your absolute best. So that's the second part. So we have the click-through as the first part, and that's where we're focusing all on our thumbnail and our title to make sure that is visually pleasing and looks really, really good. As we get that, are we converting that to a sale? That's where the rest of the listing comes into play, and making sure that we can ultimately convert it. If you're getting people to click through to your listing, okay, if you are getting people to click through and it's not converting, and you can see all this data in your sales reports and everything. So if you are getting click-throughs, but it's not converting, it's not your picture, it's not your title, there is something else in your listing that is not working. Okay. It's not, the customer doesn't like something about your listing, and we have to figure out what that is and start to play around with it. But you can pretty much know that it's probably not the thumbnail, not the title, because we got them to click through on the listing already. Okay. Next part of it is going to be sales velocity. Okay. How many sales are we making? Okay. So we've gotten the customer to click through to our listing. Okay. We've converted them now to a sale. How often are we converting them, and what is the overall sales velocity? It kind of goes hand in hand with the conversion rate for it. Okay. Same thing. It's all about making sure that everything on there is fully optimized. And then the final part of that is, what are we doing in terms of pricing? Okay. And this is the really big key right here. And this is why I personally am totally against doing any type of giveaways. I'm totally against doing any type of big discounts on products. It wasn't always that way. It was something I had to learn as I was doing it. And the reason that I am against doing that now is there's a lot of different reasons, honestly, but you have to look at it from Amazon's standpoint. Okay. The biggest thing with Amazon is, are we making them money? Contrary to what you may think, Amazon doesn't care about us as sellers. They don't. They care about their bottom line. Jeff Bezos doesn't give a shit about any of us. He cares about, did he make another $1 billion to add to his net worth today? And you know what? Hey, he's in business. He's in business to make money. And we are in business to keep Amazon happy, so they will keep us happy and keep us ranked. So the way that we keep them happy is we make them a lot of sales. And each one of those sales, we make them a lot of money. So the easiest way to kind of break down how that all works is, let's say that you have a $20 product. Let's just use that as an example. You've got a $20 product. If you are selling that at full price, okay, Amazon is getting their 15% cut. And we already know that they're going to get their 15% cut regardless. Okay, so 15% of $20 would be what, $3? I think that's right. Yeah, $3. So Amazon's getting $3. Let's just say, for the heck of it, the minimum shipping price is, I believe, $2.50 right now that they would charge. Let's just say, just for the sake of this, that it's $2.50 for shipping, and then it's going to cost Amazon $2 to ship that product. So basically, Amazon's profiting 50 cents on the shipping, and then $3 on the actual sale, because they're getting 15% of that. They made $3.50 off from that one sale from you. Now, let's say that you've got that same $20 product, and we are running a 90% off giveaway discount on that. Okay. So we're running a huge discount. All of a sudden, that takes that price for that product all the way down to $2. Okay. And then from there, they're only getting their 15% because it's based on the sale price. They're only getting their 15% on that $2. Okay. And we think that we're doing good by them because we're going to get more sales because we're selling it for only $2. We think that, hey, this is going to help us. It's going to help our sales velocity. Wrong. No, it's going to hurt you because you are making Amazon less money per sale. The shipping is going to stay the same no matter what. It's the percentage that you are getting them that's going to be way less. So what ends up happening with that, anybody that's doing a giveaway, you're going to have to give away like 5 or 6 times as many units to get the same effect, to achieve the same effect, because you're giving them away at such a significant discount that Amazon's going to look at it and say, well, screw that. Why would we do that when this guy over here sells them at full price and you know, he's making us a lot more money per unit to be able to do that. Okay. So bottom line is, you know, really those are kind of the 4 main criteria that I look at personally when I'm trying to kind of break down the Amazon algorithm and figure out what is the optimum way to sell a product, but also from a pricing standpoint, how should we be pricing stuff? Okay. Other things that we can do, in terms of increasing conversions, let's say. Or if you want to back it all the way up and we want to increase click-through, okay? One of my favorite things to do is offer some kind of a discount, okay? It doesn't matter if it's the slash-through pricing, if you do it that way, or if you offer like a clippable coupon. Personally, I prefer the clippable coupon because Amazon will like make that this like really bright lime green color that is really eye-catching to the customer, and it'll say right on there, save, you know, such and such an amount with coupon. Now, when you're doing that, something that I would highly recommend again is I would look at it and say, you know what? I have the option, again, if I'm selling a $20 product, they're going to give you the option. You can either do percentage off or you can do dollar amount off. Always do percentage. And here's why. Let's say that you want to offer 10%. Okay. They're going to give you the option. You can either do 10% or you can say $2 off that $20 item. From a consumer standpoint, 10% looks way better. Okay. 10% looks like, holy shit, I am getting like this screaming deal, even though it's the same exact thing. If they were getting $2 off, it's the same thing as 10%. 9 out of 10 people though, we're going to go after that 10% because it's the larger number. Even though people don't think twice about it. They're going to look at that and say, wow, like that's really, really cool. I'm getting 10% off on this. I'm getting a great deal. So that's one thing that you can really do to increase the click-through rate on your listing and entice people to want to buy it from you because it's going to stand right out right there. And here's the thing. A lot of people worry if we're offering discounts, is that going to hurt my margins? No, it doesn't have to. I mean, that's got to be your choice as the business owner, but it doesn't have to hurt your margins. If we're going to give a 10% discount, Okay, give a 10% discount. It doesn't mean that we can't make that back up on the other end. It doesn't mean that we can't charge a little bit more. Or if you want to split that cost with the customer, just say, hey, you know what, we'll eat 5%, but we're going to charge 5% more to the customer. Ultimately, it's got to be your choice. You're the only one that knows what your margins are, and if your margins can withstand that. But yeah, you don't have to lose out on any money. Again, most people, even if it's a little more expensive, but they are getting a deal, people are going to go for that sale price. Okay. Again, probably 9 times out of 10. One other thing that you can do, and a lot of people don't realize, pricing, you can differentiate your product just by pricing. Okay. I recommend obviously differentiating the product in other ways to really create extra value. But if you're looking for an extra way to set yourself apart, price your product differently. Okay. And this is something, I kind of learned a few years back. We started doing this at our furniture stores, and it really has been really effective. So, the way that we always used to do it, and this is the way that most companies do it. This is the way, in business school, this is what they teach you to do. End it with a 9, so let's say a sofa was going to cost us, or it's going to cost the customer $1,000. We would price it at $999. Why do we do that? Well, it's the consumer mindset. It's below $1,000. So they're getting, even though it's literally $1 off from $1,000, $999 makes it look closer to $900. So they think that they're actually getting it for around $900. As crazy as that sounds, it works. It's that consumer mindset that they don't see that big 4-digit number. They only see those 3. That's what they're going to go for. Same idea on Amazon. If we have a product that, should be $30, 90% of people are going to price that at $29.99 because the consumer looks at that and thinks, wow, I'm getting that for, less than $30, even though it's literally 1 penny less. They equate that to being closer to like $20 than $30. One thing that you can do to go one step further, and this is something I started off pricing mine ending with a 9, but I started, kind of changing that up a little bit because, like I said, we started changing that a little bit at the furniture store. So instead of maybe pricing that sofa that we were talking about at $999, we would do that at like $997, $995, somewhere in there. I started doing that with my Amazon stuff. So instead of $29.99, it might be $29.97 or $29.95. Doesn't seem like a huge difference, but from a consumer standpoint, the customer looking at that, again, compared to everybody else doing it at $29.99, and we come in at $29.95. It's a 4-cent difference. I mean, that's all it is. It's a 4-cent difference. It's not going to make or break us. And if that makes or breaks your margins, then you got bigger problems than that anyway. So, that shouldn't make or break your margins. 4 cents should be something that you should be able to pull off. If you can't, then you need to reevaluate what you're doing with that product and everything. But assuming that you can afford to have that 4-cent difference, the trade-off is probably going to be more sales. And here's why. Again, from a customer standpoint, what looks better? $29.99, $29.95, literally 4 cents difference. But that $29.95 looks like they're getting a better deal. They are, but to them, it looks like they're saving a lot of money. So, it's little tricks like that you would not think would make that big of a difference, but it does. It's the craziest thing sometimes, and it does make a big difference that way. So, guys, those are some of the biggest things that you can do right away to be able to hack the Amazon algorithm a little bit. Okay. So like I said, always remember the main 4 things that you want to focus on from the algorithm standpoint. Click-through rate. Okay. Look at your thumbnail, look at your title. That's going to determine your click-through rate. Those are the biggest things that'll determine that first. After that, it's your conversion rate. So the person has clicked through onto your listing. Did it convert to a sale? If not, it's probably not your thumbnail. It's probably not your title. That's going to be more geared towards getting them to click to the listing initially. So if it's clicking through, but it's not converting, that's probably something else in your listing that just doesn't match up with what they're looking for. After that, again, sales velocity, and finally selling price. Okay. Always put yourself in the mindset that, first and foremost, when we're making our listing, it's got to be what customers want. Okay. Doesn't always have to be what we prefer. It has to be what works for the customer. Okay. That's the most important thing. And then the other part of it is, how can we make Amazon happy? Well, you make Amazon happy by making them more sales, and then they reward you by bringing you to the top of the page and giving you access to more customers. So If you're struggling to get sales or you're worried about initially going after it, like I said, clear your mindset of all of that type of stuff of all of the bad habits and everything, and focus on how can I relate to my customer, and then how can I ultimately make Amazon more money, and that in turn is going to make me more money. If you are doing a discount, like we talked about earlier, obviously we don't want to do giveaways. If we're doing a discount, I recommend keeping it 20% or less. And there's a few reasons. Number one, you can still get reviews. Okay. Amazon hasn't came out and said exactly what it is. It's believed that it's less than 25% is the threshold for reviews. I like to go 20%, no more on that. 20% is usually going to get the job done, and most customers are going to be cool with that. The other reason for that is if you go much higher than 20%, you are opening yourself up for a lot of hijackers on your listing. Anybody that doesn't know what hijackers are, there's a lot of different ways that hijackers will take over your listing. Sometimes they will source their own products or pretty much drop ship them to the customer. But a lot of times what they'll do is they look for sellers that are running big discounts. They'll buy it on a big discount and then turn around and resell it and pocket the difference for it. Okay. So if you're running a 50% off, okay, well, they just bought that product for $10. They're going to turn around, flip it and sell it and then pocket whatever the difference is after they get it to the customer. Little things like that people don't think about. But if you keep it low enough where there's not going to be enough, 20% or less, there's just not enough there for that hijacker to really, they've got to, they're going to have to do quite a bit of work for not a big payoff. You go much more than that, though, that's when they start looking at it and it's like, I could make some pretty good money on this. So, little things like that is the way to success on Amazon. At least that's what's always worked for me, and it's worked for the others that I've worked with is, step by step, take it one step at a time and really focus on those key things first. Okay. Focus on the small details and then the rest of it will come. It's just like playing a sport. Focus on the fundamentals first, get those so that they are very good. Everything else becomes easy if you have great fundamentals. All right, let's see who we've got in here. And I see Derek's asking, no, Dan. So Dan is not here tonight. So I said Dan actually had a big night planned tonight. And for Dan, a big night consists of watching the Snyder cut of the Justice League movie. And he's filming a review for that right now. So that's why he is not here right now. Anybody that's not subscribed to Movie Buffs, definitely check that out. We're doing a whodunit weekend. So Dan has two different like mystery sleuth films that he's reviewing. Knives Out is coming out tomorrow, and then he's going to have Clue on Saturday, I think he said. So definitely check those out because those are going to be really good. What's up, Dad? Bart, what's going on? How's everybody's crypto? I haven't even checked my crypto in the last little. Oh, I made an Etsy sale. That's cool. Hold on. I want to see where my crypto's at. I'm trying to remember even which ones I bought or fake bought, I guess, for the contest. I should have went with Pundy X. That was the other one last night that literally I had that one down there and then I switched it to Kyber. Pundy is actually one that we're going to have a video coming out about. It's up 40% today. Guys, good one to look at. I actually had a video. I filmed the intro for it last night, and I just have to do the main part of the video, but I'll kind of give you guys a sneak peek. Pundy X is a great, great project. I'm a big fan of it. It's been around a while. It's really cheap. It's like less than half a penny. So it's one of those, it's a top 100. So it still actually has a higher market cap, but it's one of those, it's cheap enough that it may get a lot of people backing it, especially as this thing goes crazy. But Pundy X, long story short, basically they are trying to use blockchain technology to allow brick and mortar retailers to have POS systems, okay, that will accept crypto, and there's a whole bunch of stuff on there. So we're going to cover that much more in depth and everything. But I love Pundy X. And it's kind of a project that's kind of near and dear to my heart, just because, we come from the brick and mortar side of things. So I think what they're trying to do is really, really cool. And I think that it's going to be a big deal for a lot of brick and mortar retailers moving forward. And literally that was the one I had typed in there. And then I switched it out right at the end and put in Kyber, just because, I don't know, you got to have some Kyber in there, right? What's going on, Joe? Derek says, clear your mind and the rest will follow. True that. That is right. Just made an Etsy sale too. I love it. I love it. They sell well on Etsy, man. Let's see. Bart says he bought some more Link. I love it. Hey, today was a good day to buy it, because I think yesterday it was pumping pretty good after the grayscale news, but I think today, pretty sure most of the market's down today. Yeah, most of it's down today. Yeah, so it's a good day to buy it. It's under $30, so gotta like that. Rough day for crypto on our fantasy. I'm down, but up with my real portfolio. Yes, let's see. Dad, you just bought some basic attention token. Like, you got it right before it pumped, because they got a grayscale trust too. I actually filmed a video on that. I think it's going to go out tomorrow. But you filmed one, or you bought BAT, and then there was one other one that you bought the other day that was way up today too. I'm trying to remember which one it was. You sent me a message on it earlier. Let's see. Oops. Oh, Cosmos. Yeah, Cosmos is a good project too. We'll be talking about that one coming up. Amazon feels we have great growth potential, and it's providing seller growth program to us. Good news. I think so. Actually, John William reached out to me about it earlier. I haven't had a chance to get back to him yet, but I think so. Actually, let me read his message right now. Hold on, I can tell you. I won't read it out loud here, but hold on, I can tell you. Let's see. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that is their program where they will loan sellers money. I've been offered it probably 5 or 6 different times. I've never taken it personally. However, I do know that there has been quite a few sellers that have taken it. If that's the program that I'm thinking it is, I believe Mike Vale did, as well as Tiffany. So I think both of them did take up, Amazon on that. I think they charge a pretty reasonable interest rate on it. I don't think it's anything crazy, especially in Amazon terms. Usually Amazon wants a big slice of the pie, but I don't think that their interest rates were crazy. Hey, if it provides you extra working capital, and it makes sense, then absolutely. Like I said, I've been offered a couple different times, probably more than a couple, probably 5 or 6, I want to say. I never took them up on it. I was definitely considering it. I mean, I definitely was considering it. Shopify does something similar too, where they provide like working capital. I have done that before. I did that last year because I had an opportunity to buy a lot of inventory during COVID for a really good price. So I ended up doing that, and that worked out really well too. So a lot of times they, those type of programs, that's the big thing too. That's not always a bad thing. This isn't professional, financial advice or anything like that, but that's not always a bad thing. If it's something that the business can afford to pay back and it's going to fuel growth, and you guys are growing at such a rapid pace, might be worth looking into. Because here's the thing, you guys, where you're at, and I was talking with William about this the other day, you guys are scaling so quickly, which is awesome, but you guys are scaling so quickly. I can tell you, I've been there, and it's, you start to, and this is something, when my dad was on the other night, we were kind of talking about that. When you start scaling a business, the toughest thing is you create that monster, and then you have to feed it. And on Amazon, as you guys know, you start to lose ranking if you're out of stock. and then also, you get to that point where once you are growing that at a really, really good clip, you don't really want to stop. You want to keep it going, but the only way to keep it going is to continue to keep getting more inventory in so that we don't run out and that we can add, whether it's variations of something or you're trying to extend your brand into other products, whatever it might be. So that's kind of one of the biggest things to always think about, is as long as the business can afford to pay it back, it's not always a bad thing to take on debt, because it's going to help fuel growth, and it'll pay off big time in the long run for it. Okay. Yep. Basic attention token and Cosmos. I like both of them. Bought Basic Attention a while back. I'll tell you, they have one of the best leaders in all of the crypto space. If I had my pick, I would want Charles Hoskinson from Cardano. I think that he's like the Steve Jobs of crypto. I mean, he's just brilliant. But I'll tell you, the guy that Basic Attention Token has, and his name escapes me right now, but I can tell you he was one of the co-founders of Mozilla Firefox. And with Bat's Brave browser basically being the same thing, it's, basically being a browser, but with a different mission. I don't think you could have a more perfect fit in the crypto space. So, I mean, he knows that business like the back of his hand. So I think that that's a really solid one. Absolutely. What are your thoughts on DNT? I bought a while back and have done good so far. I think it's a sleeper and it'll be decent too. That's a good question. I'll tell you, I haven't looked into that one in a long time. That's the toughest thing in crypto. I guess it's kind of the same way with stocks too, but that's the toughest thing in crypto, is there are so many projects, and trying to keep up to date on all the news of what's going on with everything is always really tough. Usually what I like to do, I like to have a big majority of my portfolio, let's say 90%. And maybe I'll do something like that sometime, where we'll do like a portfolio reveal, basically like, hey, this percentage of my portfolio is in this one and this percentage is in this one. And that changes sometimes and everything. But typically I try to keep like 90% in the ones I'm most confident in, blue chippers, your top 50, top 100 max, but typically top 50. A lot of them going to be top 20 projects that I'm really bullish on. Or if it's one that's outside the top 20, but I love the use case, like the graph, for instance, or synthetics, then that one's worth getting into. But then I'll reserve 10% for the moonshots. Okay. And we talked about it a little bit on the live stream last night, but a lot of times what happens is the first one to pump is going to be Bitcoin. Okay. So as we get to the closing of the bull run, because there will be an end to that more likely than not. Bitcoin is very cyclical. It's all based around the Bitcoin halving cycles. Bitcoin is very cyclical, and based on where everything measures out in terms of time frame wise and stuff like that, we're looking sometime like late September, mid-October, sometime in there to Halloween time frame is probably when the majority of the big bull run is going to end. Doesn't mean that there's not gains to be had. You can make a lot of money in between in a bear market if you're buying right and then you exit a position at the right time. So you can absolutely still make a lot of money. But in terms of like when all the coins are just gonna go like crazy, Bitcoin will be the first one to reach like peak and then start pulling back. When it starts pulling back, people will start to look at things like Ethereum, Cardano, top 20, top 50 projects, top 100, somewhere in there, where that's where a lot of that money that they made on Bitcoin, they're going to pull some of it out. The rest of it, they're going to invest it into the other ones, because those will be the next ones that will get the biggest gains. They're all going to be gaining all the way up, but then they're going to get the biggest push towards the middle part of the end of that. And then the final wave of it, about 2 to 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks after Bitcoin has its big final pump, that's when you'll start to see some of these like really, really low cap ones just go crazy, because people are just throwing crazy money at it because they've already made a shit ton of money on Bitcoin. They've made a shit ton of money on everything else, and they're looking for that icing on the cake. Okay. They're looking for that one that's just going to like 10,000x for them. And they're out there. I can tell you, we're going to be talking very soon on the channel at something that I use to help pick kind of some of these projects that are maybe outside the top 100. Okay, there's a site called Token Metrics, and we'll dive into that more so in other videos and everything. But long story short, basically Token Metrics is all about it was created by two guys who back in the 2017 bull run turned a $20,000 investment into millions of dollars in basically the span of like 9 months. Okay. They were able to do that by using this algorithm that they built. One of them was one of the original developers for Watson, which was IBM's supercomputer. The other one worked on some big project at Google. I can't think of the name of it right now, but I mean, super smart guys, computer learning, computer engineers, all that type of stuff. So they built an algorithm to help them pick out the best type of cryptos. That's where projects like Synthetics, that doesn't really get talked about a lot, but I was able to buy it at like $5 or whatever it was. It was way less than $10 at the time, and now it's sitting at like $30. So, and that was only a couple months ago, and I think it's going to go a heck of a lot higher than that. But we're going to talk about that on the channel too, because they will give you like top predictions for different months and stuff like that and everything. It is a monthly fee to have it. However, once you get comfortable enough in the crypto space, kind of knowing how to buy stuff and how to do all that type of stuff, it's a really valuable asset to have, because it will help you pick projects based on grades that they give them. And it saves you a ton of time researching. As we all know, there's, 8,500, 8,600 cryptos out there. There's no way that you can go through and look at every one of their sites and read all of their white papers and try to figure out which ones are the best. These guys basically give you the Cliff Notes version of it based on what their algorithm has sorted through to find what they look for. And then from there, I'll take the project, look at it, I'll take a look at their score, and then I'll kind of do a once over on my end and get an idea. What is this project about? I want to dive deeper into it. I want to learn as much as I can. Does it have a use case? That's my big thing. Does it have a use case? Does it have great leadership? And do they have partnerships or big potential in the future? And if it checks all those boxes and I feel really comfortable with it, and it's something where they're giving it a pretty good grade on it, then it's probably something I'm gonna invest in. So, that's a great way a lot of times to be able to kind of find those low cap gems where you can really kind of ride that all the way to the top for it. 90K in inventory by the end of the month, and it'll be time to order again. Whew. You guys are flying, man. I love it. That's what I'm talking about, though. That's where something like something like a loan might not be a bad thing, just to be able to keep that inventory flowing, because you do have a good flow of goods going and you're selling a lot of product. So, the business is able, if it's able to afford that, then absolutely. Joe says he's working on 3 to 4 months of net 30 purchases to get that business line of credit. I'm guessing it depends on my scores as to how much they'll lend me. Excuse me. Typically, yeah. And then, like if Amazon reaches out to you specifically for a lot of it, they base just on your seller metrics in terms of, what are your sales like, and how often, how much are your payouts that you're getting from them? Do they feel that your business is able to pay that money back based on the payouts that you're getting minus the fees that they're charging? All that type of stuff for it. Carlos says maybe someday a 7 and 7 for crypto. That would be, I'll tell you what, Token Metrics is about the closest you can get to it, I think. I love it. I got, excuse me, I got onto it, I don't know, a few months back. I saw a few other YouTubers talking about it, and I was really intrigued with it. So I was watching some videos, just kind of learning about it a little bit. And then I started doing some backstory on the guys that created it, and learned that, they actually legitimately did turn a $20,000 investment into, I think it was $5 million, if I'm not mistaken. And then they started talking about how they did it. And then I started reading reviews and everything, and people were like, no, they're like 80% accurate with their picks and everything. And so, that's where you can go to verify some of the stuff that you're looking at. Even some of the top projects, sometimes you want extra verification just to make sure, but that's also a great place to go if you're wanting to get into some of those low cap, long run or long shot picks. great place to kind of go to and maybe use that to be able to solidify what your thoughts on a project are. All right. We got anything else, guys? Anybody else with questions? Hey, we got more on tonight than I was thinking we were going to. Usually Thursdays are the slowest night for them. Mondays and Wednesdays, it seems like everybody gets on pretty good. And then Thursdays are usually the slowest nights for us. So we got more people on than I was thinking we were going to. All right. Well, guys, if that's it and nobody else has questions, I think we will call it there. Bart says, what was that? Yes, token metrics. Let me hold on. Let me see if I can pull up their website real quick, and then I'll send you. I'll just put it in the chat. Hold on just a second here. There it is. I got too many tabs open. Here we go. There we go. Derek says Coinbase Pro orders. So Derek, let's do this. You've got an interview with my dad tomorrow, I believe, for your channel. So when you're done with that, I'll hop on the phone with you because him and I are gonna be working together tomorrow anyway. So I'm gonna be covering the floor and everything when he's doing the interview with you tomorrow. So when he's done, I'll hop on real quick and we can go through that. It'll just be easier to be able to kind of walk you through it that way. Okay. Yeah. So let's do that. So when you're done with him, I'll just have him come grab me real quick, and it should only take like a couple minutes for it. It's just a different layout for it. And that's what I was saying last night. Like Coinbase and Gemini, part of the reason that they're great is because they are a little bit more user-friendly, especially if you're brand new to the space and everything. They're definitely more user-friendly. Coinbase Pro is more like a Binance, KuCoin, something like that, where it can get kind of confusing because there's all the different charts and stuff like that for it. But once you kind of figure out how it works and everything, it's pretty simple once you get a pretty good base of how it works. So, all right, guys, that should do it for tonight. Everybody have a great night, and we'll be live again Monday night. Everybody have a great weekend, and till then, make sure that if you haven't liked our page on Facebook, like our page on Facebook, because we're posting all sorts of stuff in there. And we should have, so there should be a good Etsy video coming out tomorrow, and probably a crypto one as well. So that being said, guys, we'll see you later.